Hi everyone, today we are going to focus on one of the most important tasks in the PTE Speaking, the repeat sentence, and how do we improve it using the chunking. And many students struggle with RS because you're trying to remember the whole sentence, which is actually not necessary. So in this session, I will show you a much more effective way to approach the RS so that you can improve both your accuracy and fluency step by step. So I will show you how to do the chunking. First, the techniques and methods. There are three core strategies you need to master for the RS. First, we need to listen for the content chunks, which means you need to focusing on the verb plus noun phrases and connecting them in the original order. And second, focus on the main structure first. So you need to identify the subject, verb, and object first, before adding extra details. And the third is to apply the 50% rule, which means you don't need to remember the full sentence, capturing at least 50% of the content, and the key information is enough to secure the marks. So the step-by-step approach is when the audio is playing, your core task is to listen carefully and quickly decide which strategy you can use. So you need to evaluate the sentence complexity in real time. If the sentence is short and clear, use the main structure. If it is longer and contains more details, use our chunking. If it is very long or difficult, we need to switch to the 50% rule. So after the audio ends, quickly rehearse what you remember and deliver your answer clearly within 2 to 3 seconds. Okay, we can see the first strategy is listen for the content chunks. The content chunking method is especially useful for the long sentences with multiple pieces of information. So you should focus on identifying verb and noun phrases combinations. And also optionally remember some modifiers such as time or the place. They reconstruct the sentence by following the original word order. If there are only one or two chunks, you can repeat your answer once to improve the fluency and completeness. So for example, if you heard the sentence is students who wish to apply for extension should approach their tutors. And we can separate the chunking is students wish apply for extension and approach their tutors. If you listen less than 2 groups, we need to repeat again your answer. For example, if you heard the students wish approach their tutors, repeat again. Students wish approach their tutors. But you need to repeat like one whole sentence. So the real practice is students wish approach their tutors. Students wish approach their tutors. It sounds like the whole sentence. Okay, let's turn to another strategy. The second one is focus on the main structure. And our specific requirements is if you heard a sentence on short or for medium length, we need to focus on the main structure like subject, verb, and object. It's very clear. And the core information is concentrated in the main structure with additional details optional. So your first step is to identify the main structure and say it first. After that, you can add additional details such as time, place, or modifiers if you remember them. So always prioritize the main structure before anything else, as it carries the core meaning of the sentence. For example, the students who wish to apply for extension should approach their tutors. If you heard the two phrases like the students approach their tutors and wish to apply for extension, but the core structure is students should approach their tutors, you can repeat the core structure. If you remember the additional like the details, we need to add it. So the real practice is like students who wish to apply for extension should approach their tutors. It's a perfect sentence. Okay, the last strategy is to apply the 50% rule. The 50% rule is your safety strategy, especially when a sentence is very long, contains unfamiliar words or phrases, or creates memory pressure. You only need to do is to ensure that you deliver at least 50% of the content, which can be the first half or the second half or the key information combined. So for shorter sentences, you need to repeat answer once to improve the fluency and coverage. We need to still take this example. The 50% content for this sentence is students who wish to apply for. Also later, the apply for extension should approach their tutors. Whether you heard the first half sentence or the last half, if you heard 50%, no more than 50%, you need to repeat the sentence again, like students who wish to apply for students who wish to apply for. Yeah, it sounds like the whole sentence, right? Okay, so we need to conclude our core strategies and how do we do our daily practice. So the core strategies is the method 1, listen for the content chunks. Focus on the verb and noun phrases and connect them in the original order. So please do not mix the order. The order is very important for our, the content scores. So please don't mess the order. We need to keep the original order. And method 2 is focus on the main structure. We can capture the main, like the phrases, the subject, verb, and object. If you heard any other like the extra details, we can put on it. And the last method is apply the 50% rule. It's very suitable for students who cannot repeat the whole structure or who cannot understand the meaning of the sentence. We need to obey the 50% rule, which can make sure our content at least have 2 scores. And this is a key strategy for securing the content marks. So how do we do our daily practice? First, I recommend you to read aloud super high frequency and high frequency chunky phrases. And second, practice super high frequency and high frequency RS questions through repeated cycles and review long load scoring items. When to repeat, when to listen, repeat and listen. This is a circle, right? After you repeat it several times, you will be very familiar with these sentences, and you can speak this sentence in the real exam very fluently. And third, do not over-focus on the function words and simulate the real test environment. And the last one is, we need to progress gradually from the short sentences to the long sentences and high-frequency real questions. So we need to build our skills gradually from short sentence to the long sentences. You will find you make a big progress in the RS. Okay, thank you for everyone to listen to our RS strategy. If you find that our strategy is very useful for you and it really does work, please let us know. You can leave your comments below. Thank you so much. See you again.